Good morning, everyone. I'm Alec Farmer, Chairman of the Arkansas State Highway Commission, and I'd like to call this business meeting to order. Let the record reflect that we have a quorum with 4 of the 5 commissioners here for the purpose of conducting business. Obviously, we're missing one, Keith Gibson, and we just want to wish him and his wife Jill well. She's recovering from surgery in Fort Smith, and he's with her today and couldn't be with us today, so keep him in your thoughts and prayers and wish Jill a speedy recovery. I want to start by saying thank you for everyone for being here and those who may be watching us, the few from live stream. A few reminders today about speaking. When you're speaking, be sure to turn your microphone on. I'm guilty of that as much as anybody. So that helps everybody in the room here and those watching live stream. Also, as has become the custom since COVID, we're doing electronic signatures, so I'd entertain a motion to continue the usage of that.
So move.
Motion.
Second.
Second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Thank
I think mine's turned way up here for some reason.
you. The next order of business is the minutes. Has everyone had a chance to review the minutes? Any changes or I'd entertain a motion to approve the minutes.
So move.
A motion and a second.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All right, we've approved the minutes. We're going to change things up a little bit this morning. Next on our agenda is a presentation from Keep Arkansas Beautiful. To bring us that is their director, Mackenzie McMath Cornell. She's going to the podium right now. Welcome.
Okay, I can follow instructions and turn on the mic. Life is good. All right, everyone, good morning. Thank you so much for having me. My name is Mackenzie McMath Cornell, and I am the director of Keep Arkansas Beautiful. I am here today to ask for your continued and augmented support in our cleanup efforts across the state and to give you all a look at our 2023 impact report. Oops, maybe. Okay, 2023 was a record-breaking year. 4 consecutive cleanup seasons in a row, we have managed to get participation from all 75 counties in our cleanups in each of the biannual cleanups. That's not all year, that's twice a year, all 75 counties. Which is a really big deal because we want all of our Arkansans to know that they have a hand in keeping this state beautiful. Since 2019, our volunteer rates have risen 62.3% from around 13,000 volunteers, which was steady for about a 7-year period, up to this year, 23,000 volunteers, which is a huge deal. We are aiming to get 25,000 volunteers for the 2024 cleanup season. We have had an amazing growth rate over the last 5 years, including just volunteer hours from around 40,000 hours to about 148,000 hours. Really great big deal. From events, we had about 350 annual events, now up to almost 800. We definitely plan on increasing those every season. And my favorite, the cost benefit from around $2.9 million in 2019 to about $5.5 million back to the state through all of our volunteers' efforts. So that's a nice big price tag. We like that. Our year in review just for 23 includes my favorite part here, 636 tons of trash and litter pickup. Also, 514 tons of bulky waste. I never realized they measured those things separately. I just kind of thought trash was trash, but it's not. They're different categories, and it's amazing to me that our volunteers were able to gather all of these materials. Also, 327 miles of waterway and shoreline cleaned, and over 2,000 miles of highway and roadsides cleaned. We also have planted about 2,000 trees, shrubs, and flowers, so continuing beautification and keeping Arkansas beautiful and litter-free. We have included several other interesting data points, which I will not read out loud to each of you, but needless to say, all of our areas are increasing, our volunteerism is increasing, and Arkansans are having a larger hand each year and keeping the state beautiful, litter-free, and taking responsibility for their communities, which is awesome. There's more to come in 2024, and I'm not going to keep you long. I know you have a very long, exciting meeting ahead of you, but I am here to ask for your continued and slightly augmented support from your generous grant that you provide us. Last year was $35,000. That money goes towards purchasing T-shirts for all of our volunteers. And as I stated, this upcoming season, we aim to have 25,000. We want to make sure that our volunteers get to have their piece of Keep Arkansas Beautiful. They are walking billboards for us. They're dedicated. They are passionate, and they really love being able to sport their KAB merch provided so kindly by you all. So this year, I am asking for a slight augmentation to $40,000 just because the increase in people, increase in prices. I know we all feel that, but we really are grateful for your support of our mission and our initiatives, and we have enjoyed a long-lasting partnership with RDOT and look forward to future initiatives and continuing this great partnership. So thank you for your time.
Thank you
Okay.
for your presentation.
Yes.
Lori, that is in the budget, is it not? The request for going up to 40,000?
Yes, it is.
Okay, thank you.
But you,
I have one quick question before you step away. So we are looking at another area of education that is focused toward the children versus the drivers. And I know that's something that you guys have been doing for many, many years. Can you speak to that just a little bit and how
Oh,
that?
absolutely. Okay, I'm still on, still live. We have several children education initiatives that include a series of children's books that are available both in English and in Spanish. We target children from preschool through about middle school with different materials, such as, we have coloring books, we have joint partnerships with Arkansas PBS, and we also have our mascot, Otto the Otter, which is a big hit with the kids. He appears and reads to them. We also travel the state with Otto and do pass out, books to different schools. All of our materials are free, so we do provide all of these books and workbooks and even some cartoons and live readings with all the schools across the state. And we do participate in library readings and things of that nature. But this year specifically, because of the LEARNS Act requirements, we are expanding our education to reach high school students and offer them volunteer opportunities to get those 75 required hours. I know that in this particular report, we focus a lot on trash cleanup and litter prevention, but we are amplifying and highlighting other pillars of our department, which are beautification, recycling, education, and litter prevention, and allowing students to pick and create different initiatives or programs or projects from those areas, or we can, provide them examples, but we want them to know that they can come to Keep Arkansas Beautiful and get those hours and at the same time be giving back to their state. So as far as our entire education bubble goes, while we are and have been very focused on elementary education, we are expanding that to high school. So it's a lot of fun.
That's interesting. Thank you.
Any more questions? Yes, sir.
Do you have a similar relationship with any other state agencies that you have with RDOT? Do you have any, how does that work?
Well, we have several relationships with different state agencies, including the Arkansas Department of Education. We are now officially a part of Arkansas State Parks, so they help supplement us in several of our initiatives as well. We work with
Game and Fish? for
Game and
instance?
Fish. We also have, we just work with several entities across the state. But RDOT and Keep Arkansas Beautiful kind of started, they were at the very beginning of Keep Arkansas Beautiful. At one point in time, we were even housed here. So that is why we have such a strong, long-lasting relationship, is because you guys were our number one partnership from way back in the day. So while we do work definitely with other agencies and they assist us in different ways, for example, for our education, this year we're implementing different field trip options for schools, and state parks pays for all the buses and that type of thing. So while they don't give us a specific dollar amount grant, we are supported financially by different entities in that type of way. So yeah, we are big partners with the Little Rock Zoo. We work a lot in Northwest Arkansas with Crystal Bridges. And yeah, we have a nice long list of partners. Because we are such a small department, we are 3 people, the director, the volunteer program manager, and the education manager. We try to form ourselves to be a great plug-in to existing initiatives, because we can't handle running large programs with just 3 people. So we look for partners that already have big projects going, and then we see how we can augment their mission, their initiatives, and provide, educational materials or cleanup materials. We also provide, for the first time actually, we have 3 grants that we offer. One is a trash boom grant, and we've been working with different cities and municipalities to install trash booms into waterways. Of course, there's a lot of permitting that has to happen and determining which waterway is best to have a trash boom inserted. That's kind of like a big fancy net that goes across a waterway and catches trash in it. It has to be cleaned every month. And our Keep Little Rock Beautiful affiliate group has one in a place called Fush Creek, and they clean out the tonnage of 2 African elephants a month out of that one trash boom. So we offer 10 grants a year in the amount of $2,600 to any company, municipality, city that would like to install trash booms. We also offer a green cleanup grant where you can apply to do a cleanup outside of our cleanup seasons, and we will provide you with up to $500 to purchase cleanup materials and or provide you with what we have. We also have a very large deal with GLAD in Northwest Arkansas. They donate the trash bags that we use. So their donation from last year should last us through the end of this cleanup season. So we are definitely supported by various institutions within the community, but as far as an official grant, RDOT is unique in that sense. Yes, any other questions? Is RDOT ready to have a cleanup? We'll organize one together. It's gonna be fun? Okay, I'll get those details down. Okay, anything else?
Appreciate you.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Okay, now we'll move on to the reading of the minutes. Minute orders, excuse me.
All right, thank you, Mr. Chairman. Minute order 1 simply approves the actions of the purchasing committee. Minute order 2, authorization to make a contribution of $40,000 to the Keep Arkansas Beautiful Foundation for use in conducting the Great Arkansas Cleanup. Minute order 3, this minute order asks for approval to engage the services of a qualified consultant to develop, publish, and distribute educational materials about safe driving for K through 12 in partnership with the Arkansas Department of Education. Minute order 4, authorization to develop rules and policies and to act on matters related to the safety oversight of public transportation, including all rail fixed guideway public transportation systems, such as one operated by Rock Region Metro. Minute order 5, approval to participate in the National Center for Asphalt Technologies Pooled Fund Study. Minute order 6, this minute order asks for approval to extend the on-call contracts for safety studies and engineering services through federal fiscal year 2026. Minute order 7, this minute order calls for the request of proposals to select consulting firms and enter agreements and contracts for on-call independent cost estimating services on CMGC, which is the Construction Manager General Contractor process, the Progressive Design Build Way and Design Build projects for calendar years 2025 and 2026. Minute order 8, authorization to enter necessary agreements with the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers to fund 2 positions to expedite department projects. Minute Order 9, authorization to proceed with improvements at 5 railroad crossings as funds become available. The next few minute orders deal with land. Minute Order 10, this one in District 4, Sebastian County, simply declares a tract of land as surplus. Minute Order 11, also in D4, Washington County, we are requesting a change in the land status from capital asset to right-of-way. Minute Order 12, in Pulaski County, declaring land as surplus. Minute Order 13, Saline County, the property known commonly as Lonsdale-Saline River Road will be turned over to the county. Minute Order 14 in District 9, Boone County, this minute order calls for the tract of land to be surplus. Minute Order 15, this minute order deals with Craighead County. We ask for the adoption of the Jonesboro South and West Connector Study for use as a planning guide for future improvements. And finally, Minute Order 16 in District 10, Mississippi County, adopting the Osceola Industrial Access Connection Study for use as a planning guide for future improvements. That is it, Mr. Chairman.
No questions from the, yes.
One question, Mr. Chairman, quickly, for Lori, I guess. This deal with the Corps engineers, are those positions with the Corps? Do they work for the Corps and we just pay their salary? How does that work?
That's correct. We provide the funding for 2 positions. They have to give our work priority, but they are, they're supervised, they work for the Corps, all those things. We're just providing federal funds to pay for their salaries, so we get first. We're
Yeah.
up on the top of the stack.
Okay.
Get those permits
Well,
quicker.
That's kind of a unique way of doing it, but I mean, it sounds good to me, but
Yeah.
thank you.
You're welcome.
Any other questions? Thank you, Dave. Appreciate that. We'll move along to the financial report and ask Chief Financial Officer Patrick Patton to come forward and share with us the good news.
Good morning. Do have some good news, so that's good. Good segue. First slide, if you look at the budgeted versus actual expenses, this is the by budget category, which is by our organizational chart responsibilities. All of our areas are under budget, including pre-construction. This budget, when we look at it, has all funds in it, not just RRA Quad Zero, and which is our main operating fund. So if you take out the additional fund in pre-construction, every budget is under budget. I'll adjust that for future reporting. We go to the next one. This one is by operational category, which is our maintenance, operations, administration, and budgeted construction. Once again, all areas are under budget on expenses by 16.8 million or 9.9%. Moving on to actual revenue, May over May of 23 versus 24. You can see motor fuels up by 7.6 million. Amendment 101's coming in flat. Registration fees are up. Once again, natural gas severance tax is down 38.7 million from last May. So overall, total revenues versus last May are down 18.2 million or 2.6%, which, as you can tell, the majority of it's natural gas. Moving to budgeted versus actual for 24. Motor fuel is up by 7.4 million. Amendment 101 is down 20.1 million. That's due to about 10 million at the first of the year. There was timing. That'll take care of itself in 25. Registration fees are up a little bit. Once again, natural gas severance is down 26.6 million budgeted versus actual. So overall, we're down 33 million, or 4.7% on total revenues. Moving to Act 416, actual revenues, they remain flat. We're up 2 million, or 3.5% out of all the categories. I want to remind you once again, June 30th, we will be getting 35 million for the casino tax. So that'll be a good way to start out state fiscal year 25 with that money coming in at the end of the month. The next one is budgeted versus actual. Same thing. It's the same categories. Up 2 million, or 3.5%. If we look at consumption, consumption across the board is up versus May of last year. Gas is up 41 million gallons, diesel up 12.4. So totals 54 million gallons, or 2.6% increase over May of last year, or through May last year. If you look at the rolling 12 months, once again, they're all positive numbers. If you look at all the categories, we're up 2.97%, or 66.3 million gallons versus the previous 12 months. Are there any questions?
I have one. The natural gas severance, I know that drop is expected. Why do you keep the budgeted so high?
This coming year, I'm not.
Okay.
The budget last year, we actually gave it a 25% haircut versus the previous year, which it still came down, as you can tell, a lot lower. This year, which you'll hear from me in a couple minutes after some other presentations on the budget presentation, we're actually giving it a 40% haircut of what we were actually expected to receive this year. So projections right now are at about 12 million for this year. So you'll see about 8 million in the budget for state fiscal year 25. So I'm continually lowering it.
Okay.
With the hope that it'll come back, but
Yeah.
we're going to have production in the state and prices higher for us to see any benefit.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Patrick. Now, I will turn the remainder of the meeting over to Director Tudor.
Thank you. Next, we have Kevin Thornton, our Chief of Administration. He's going to give you an update on federal and state legislative activities.
Thank you, Director Tudor. Mr. Chairman, Commissioners, since your last meeting, the Arkansas Legislature and the Governor have completed the 2024 fiscal session of the 94th General Assembly. During this session, our appropriations bill for state fiscal year 2025 was passed and signed by the Governor. No changes were made to our previously submitted appropriations request. The Governor did call for a special session that began this last Monday. They are considering several items, including tax reduction and a 2025 appropriations for game and fish. There are some other items as well. It appears that this special session will be wrapping up possibly even today. So that's moving well. We'll, of course, continue to follow all the developments out of the special session just to ensure that there's none that impact the department. Turning your attention to the federal level, I would like to bring you up to date on the committee positions that the Arkansas delegation holds with respect to transportation, which provides Arkansas a strong voice in meeting the needs of our state and nation. For federal funds to be available, there must be an Authorization Act and an Appropriation Act, which are prepared by different committees. An Authorization Act establishes, continues, or modifies the structure of transportation programs, and it typically covers multiple years. Our current Authorization Act is the Infrastructure Investment and Jobs Act, or the IIJA, which when passed in 2021 covered a 5-year period. An Appropriation Act typically covers only 1 year at a time. Our current Appropriations Act provides federal funding until the end of September of this year. There are 4 primary committees that are involved in the development of the Authorization and Appropriation Acts. In the House, the Appropriation Acts are handled by the House Transportation and Infrastructure Committee, which is more commonly referred to as the House T&I Committee. In the Senate, Authorization Acts are handled by the Senate Environment and Public Works Committee, which is more commonly referred to as the Senate EPW Committee. Appropriation Acts are handled by the House Appropriations Committee and the Senate Appropriations Committee. The members of the Arkansas delegation holding important positions on these committees are shown on this slide. In the House, Congressman Steve Womack is a member of the full House Appropriations Committee. Additionally, he was recently appointed as chair of the Transportation, Housing, and Urban Development and Related Agencies Subcommittee that reports to the Appropriations Committee. Congressman Bruce Westerman is a member of the full House T&I Committee. Now, not only is Congressman Rick Crawford a member of the full House T&I Committee, he is also chair of the Highway and Transit Subcommittee that reports to the House T&I Committee. Congressman Crawford has also announced that he will seek the top Republican spot on the House T&I Committee for the next Congress, which begins in January of 2025. This means there is a possibility that he will become the full committee chair depending on this fall's election results. In the Senate, Senator John Bozeman is a member of the Senate Appropriations Committee. He is also a member of the Senate EPW Committee, and he is a member of the Transportation and Infrastructure Subcommittee that reports to the EPW Committee. Arkansas is fortunate to have members of our delegation serving on these important committees. Their willingness to serve in these roles and their willingness to seek greater positions only strengthens Arkansas's voice for transportation. Director Tudor, that concludes my report.
Thank you, Kevin. Is there any questions? This is really positive news for the upcoming year. I think Arkansas has the potential of maybe capturing some of those discretionary grant funds and also the community discretionary funds for our big projects that we're trying to fund. So we're excited about the leadership in Washington when it comes to federal funding for our projects. Next, I'd like to ask Crystal Woods, our Assistant Chief of Administration, to give you an update on our efficiency review recommendation implementation.
Good morning.
Morning.
As Director Tudor said, I'd like to give you a brief update on our continuing efforts to implement the 13 recommendations from the Arkansas Legislative Council efficiency study of the department. I'll be sharing 2 of the most noteworthy examples of the progress we reported to the Highway Commission Review and Advisory Subcommittee for the months of May and June 2024. Recommendation number 1 under the organizational structure category said that we should finalize KPIs and implement performance management. As we reported in your last meeting, the KPI dashboard has been approved and posted on our website. We're also in the process of evaluating all of our data here at RDOT to develop some additional KPIs and performance targets that will support the accomplishment of our strategic plan. As part of that process, we have developed a data survey for our internal staff members to complete with assistance from subject matter experts from our Information Technology Division and our Planning Division. Recommendation number 6 said that we should implement construction contractor performance measurement. As previously reported, 7 projects were selected for a pilot application of the draft manual, which establishes how each metric will be used to evaluate our prime contractors. Several of those pilot projects are nearing completion, and the committee members will soon be completing their evaluation reports on those prime contractors. Overall, there are 13 recommendations, and within those 13, there are 90 rules that were proposed by RDOT and accepted by HCRAS. As you can see on the screen, although it's small, 2 of the 13 recommendations have now been fully implemented, and 59 of the 90 rules are now considered complete. That's a 66% completion rate and a 3% increase since your last commission meeting. Are there any questions?
Okay. Well, thank you, Crystal. Slowly but surely, we're
getting
taking
there.
off the rules.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Crystal.
Next, we have Kelly Wiley, our Assistant Chief Engineer for Program Delivery, to give you a bid letting update.
Thank you, Director Tudor. Good morning, Mr. Chairman and Commissioners. Since your last meeting, we have had 2 successful bid lettings in both April and May. Much like the February letting, these 2 lettings primarily consisted of pavement preservation and bridge replacement projects as we continue our emphasis on maintaining our roads and bridges. Over the last 5 lettings, the department has awarded 79 projects totaling $392 million that will make improvements to almost 700 miles of state highways. In the April letting, we awarded 27 projects for $59 million. These projects include 11 highway, 13 county projects, and 3 city projects. There were 57 bids submitted from 30 different contractors. In the May letting, we awarded 22 projects for $73.9 million. These projects include 12 highway and 10 county projects. There were 44 bids submitted from 27 different contractors. The first project I would like to discuss was awarded in the May letting and is a highway relocation project that will shift Highway 113 in Conway County. This project involved partnering with the Arkansas Economic Development Commission, 6 counties, and 1 city in the surrounding area. The willingness from these local entities to accept ownership of almost 20 miles of state highway was the catalyst for this project getting to construction. The new alignment coincides with the construction of a new Green Bay packaging facility that will secure existing jobs in the region. These improvements should be completed by late 2025. Moving south into Pulaski County brings us to our next project from the May letting, which will resurface select sections of Highway 10 between Mississippi Avenue and South Cross Street in Little Rock. Work on this project will mostly be done at night to reduce traffic impacts and should be completed by the end of this year. And the last project I will discuss, also from the April letting, takes us to southeast Arkansas, where this project will resurface Highway 35 from Big Creek to Highway 25 in Cleveland and Drew counties. Like most of our other pavement projects, this work should be completed by the end of this year. Looking ahead, there are currently 14 projects totaling approximately $43 million in our June 26th letting next week. This concludes my report, Director Tudor.
Thank you, Kelly. Are there any questions?
Thank you, Kelly.
All right, Rex, our Chief Engineer of Operations, is going to give you an update on maintenance activities.
Good morning. Thank you, Director. Mr. Chairman, good morning, Commissioners. A former supervisor and mentor in the maintenance side of the department once told me maintenance begins at the center line. So this morning what I'd like to do is give you a brief update on that first priority for maintenance, which is pavements and bridge decks. As you can see in this picture, this is a somewhat of a before after. It's not the exact location, but it's very similar conditions on the same highway. We see a significant difference in what the winter did to us on the left, top hand corner on the left. And it was very tough on the roads this year. And then some examples of some of the great work we did to restore that pavement back to acceptable and good riding condition. And you'll even see, if you notice, we got a couple thank you notes out on the pavement. that I don't believe we wrote those, but I'm pretty confident we didn't because they're spelled correctly.
But our crews did this work.
Yes, the crews did the work.
This wasn't contract work. This was by our maintenance crews, so they did a great job.
And from a statewide review, in fiscal year 2024, our crews placed approximately 220,000 tons of asphalt and resurfaced about 155 miles of highways, just by our maintenance crews. Here's another example of a key paving project recently performed by district maintenance crews. If you'll remember, in the December meeting by minute order, the commission allowed us to make to partner with the city of Fordyce, and we took on a few city streets, of state highways to produce an easier way for commercial motor vehicles to move through the highway. There was a low clearance bridge that was hindering commercial vehicle traffic. So District 7 took this road over, the maintenance over this spring. And you can see they did a tremendous amount of work. This is truly a before after. This is the same position. They did a great job getting that back to really acceptable conditions. And I would like to point out, I believe that the focus the commission has placed on pavement preservation has made these types of projects possible for our maintenance crews, because they're able to focus more on our lower volume roads. So thank you for that, and thank you for that continued focus.
Rex, while you brought that up, I was kind of thinking along the same lines. These are obviously not on the primary highway network.
No, sir. Very low volume.
We've talked about the benefit of the half-cent sales tax and Act 416 being that we can address our existing highways more, and for a number of years, what I call the secondary highway system, not the primary highway system, has been the one that suffered, and we're talking about catching up slowly.
Yes, sir. Yeah,
have we been able to see a change just in the short amount of time that we've had the 416 money in? And
I believe we're seeing that benefit now. These two projects are just an example of what's going on around the state. So yes, sir.
okay.
And this particular project was a win-win because we had that low bridge, which was really hindering traffic through Fordyce for commercial motor vehicles.
Right.
And so by doing this, then the city took over that segment of, what highway was that?
Highway 8.
Highway 8. They took over that segment and that bridge, because to replace that railroad overpass was going to be extremely expensive, way more expensive than putting some pavement down and fixing that road up. So it was a good partnership. Made a lot of people happy. So
Good. I'd like to hear that.
Much like our roadways, our bridge crews have been very busy this year. Crews often work overnight to minimize traffic impacts, to get the repairs done, and get it safely open for traffic by the next morning. And they're out there working when everyone else is at home asleep. So kudos. You'll notice in these pictures, this crew got overtaken by a storm and was out there working in the rain suits, but they do a great job. Across the state, we've logged over 33,000 hours working on bridge decks. We've improved or accomplished over 25,000 square yards of deck patching this year. This is on the South Terminal interchange going out toward the highway. They've done a great job getting that back in good condition. That's tough work right there. I'll thank them for that. And then I'd like to end on a fun part of our job. On Saturday, May 18th, our District Bridge Operations Division and our Communications Division participated in a family event called Touch a Truck at the Park Plaza Mall. This is an event where kids get to come, they get to lay their hands on the vehicles, they get to climb up in the seats. I think we've got some pictures of them in the basket on the snooper. So this particular event was also included Little Rock Police, Fire, Sheriff's Office, Public Works, Red Cross. And so our team brought out the underbridge inspection truck, or the snooper. They brought the drones out, and you see this young man's getting to fly the drone a little bit there, and just did a great job of interacting with families and hopefully getting some, planting some seeds for some future RDOT employees here. So enjoyed that. Director, that's the end of that report.
Thank you, Rex. Any questions?
Me again. I just want to say, I know it's such an unusual year with the weather conditions, and your department just did an outstanding job trying to stay ahead of everything. I know it was something new every day and every night, and just did excellent work. Thank you so much. We really appreciate it.
Thank you. Thank you.
And now we'll move on to get an update on the I-30 Saline County default recommendation on that contract.
Okay. So got here is a project timeline. They're showing you this is the project with Johnson Brothers Corporation on I-30 in Saline County. You'll see just kind of the same timeline we've looked at before, and actually the date on there is incorrect, and that is not communications fault. That is my fault. I gave them the wrong date. So the job is actually, the completion date now is December 5th. So we have pulled that, they have pulled that back 2 weeks from the last report, the estimated completion date. So we're excited to see positive movement on that project. And so that's, right now we're scheduled to be finished early December. The current project status as far as money is involved, this project's current value, contract's current value is a little over $190 million. They have earned a little over $162 million at about 85% of the contract value. So there's approximately 15% of the work remaining. And then just as a brief wrap-up summary here, since we've put them on notice of recommendation of default, they have really upped their participation. They've really brought in resources. They've done a great job supervising the job. There's been a very noted and continued improvement on the progress on the job. We hear a lot from the public. Our primary focus is getting Commissioner Hake here on time, and we got him here this morning. So, yeah. Our focus all along has been get the job complete, get it open to traffic, and I think we've accomplished that, and we are on track to get this project done this year. So my recommendation to the commission would be to continue to defer movement on the default recommendation.
Any other comments? Rex, I just, for clarification, the amount they've earned and the amount they've been paid are two different numbers, correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir. There's approximately $25 million in road user costs that have been withheld.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
I'm not sure if we need a motion or just,
Well, no, we just take no action.
okay. There you go. All right.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay, moving on to our recent activities. On April 12th, I welcomed everyone, high school students, to the 2024 Women in STEM, that's Science, Technology, Engineering, and Math conference here in Little Rock that our DBE program, our Civil Rights program puts on. It's always a great opportunity to talk to these young women about my own journey, and we bring in other speakers to talk about their journeys, to just give them an idea what a STEM career could be for them if they're interested in that. Ellen Coulter, our media communications manager, actually moderated a panel, and Kelly Wiley was one of 5 panelists that participated just to talk about their backgrounds and career advice to the audience and what a STEM career could look like. It was well attended. We had 275 attendees this year representing schools all over the state. And it's just really good for these young women to just see that that is a path they can select for their future. On April 15th, we kicked off the Work Zone Awareness Week. This year's theme was Work Zones are temporary, actions behind the wheel can last forever. This is a picture of our current fallen worker memorial, that workers that fell in a work zone situation. That's what these cones represent. We had a great turnout with some really fabulous speakers, including our own Commissioner Marie Holder was there to speak to the group. Brad Spradlin, Executive Vice President of AGC of Arkansas. Joe Quinn, I thought I saw you leave, but you're back. So Joe, he spoke at the event. Robert Morey, who's the chairman of Arkansas Good Roads. And Joe is the executive director of Arkansas Good Roads. Park Estes, executive director of Arkansas Asphalt Paving Association, and Sarah Stillman, president and owner of Creative Design Concepts. She's the chapter president of the American Traffic Safety and Services Association. So this was a great event. It just brings everyone together and reminds everyone how important it is to drive safely through a work zone. It saves lives. We also received some very generous donations for our Fallen Worker Memorial from the Arkansas Asphalt Pavement Association, American Traffic Safety Services Association, and Associated General Contractors at the event. Had the big ceremonial checks. We're very, very thankful for their generous donation towards this cause, and we've been working on the fundraising for our monument through Arkansas Good Roads. It's going very well. I appreciate everybody in this room, their participation. I see Garber's here. They're helping us get the design in place for the monument, and just everybody coming together for this worthy cause that's near and dear to my heart, as well as all the staff. Philip, the XNA connector and Springdale bypass. It was a great event. Woohoo, I knew that was coming. We had a great day. We went up there to break ground on two very important projects for the Northwest Arkansas region, the XNA connector and the second leg of the Springdale bypass. We had Chairman Farmer, Vice Chairman Taldo, and Commissioner Holder there to support that day, to grab a shovel and toss some dirt around, which we never can seem to get right, Rusty? We're always getting, trying a different picture, but anyway. Also, Governor Asa Hutchinson, Representative Robin Lundstrom, Fayetteville Mayor Leinald, Lowell Mayor Moore, Springdale Mayor Sprouse, Siloam Springs Mayor Nation, and Tawnytown Mayor Russell were there. All-star lineup for that event. Bill Rogers, President and CEO of Springdale Chamber of Commerce, Howard Kerr, XNA Board Chairman, and many, many more. We had a huge turnout that day. I don't know how many were there, about 200, do you think, Parker? So it was a long time coming and a lot of work to get there, but we finally made it, and I think Vice Chairman was pretty proud and happy that day.
I was, and I still am.
Okay. A lot of us participated in the Arkansas Asphalt Pavement Association annual convention, but on May 1st, Jared and I spoke to the crowd there in Hot Springs. And I talked about steps we've taken over the last year to make our employees safer. And Jared shared about the history of our pavement preservation program and how we're looking forward to upcoming years. And very well received. They always look forward to having us there and hearing from RDOT. And they're just a great group, great support, and also great support for our Fallen Worker Memorial. We appreciate them so much. On May 2nd, we went up to Jackson County, Arkansas, and celebrated the completion of the Tuckerman overlay on Highway 37. And what's pretty cool about this, on May 1st, we broke ground on two very, very big projects with big price tags. You know, I don't know how much, about $500 million total worth of work we broke ground on. And then, but at the request of this small community Tuckerman, they wanted us to come and do a ribbon cutting because they had partnered with us, and it was just a great event. It doesn't matter whether it's a small project or a large project. Everyone is so thankful and grateful for the transportation investment in their area. And this was a great day. Chairman Farmer was able to be there, as well as Jackson County Judge Jeff Phillips, Tommy Young, the Jackson County Justice of the Peace, very big advocate for this project. I think when it was all said and done, it probably wouldn't have happened without his presentation to the commission. How many years ago, Alec? With
Was it 2018, I think?
2018, and he
so.
had the
He had Wilson,
the
the
soccer ball, because it was like you got lost. You couldn't find your way between.
Because of certain rules and regs about grain trucks and weight-restricted highways and things, they became an island there. They couldn't get to Tuckerman.
They were stranded on
so they were castaways.
They were castaways. So he made a presentation with a soccer ball drawn like Wilson, and you never forgot it.
Oh,
so
yeah. He presented it to us back at that meeting. We walked into the Tuckerman Community Center. I was with former Director Bennett and Congressman Crawford, and it was about 75 people in there, and we didn't know if we were the guest or the main course. But anyway, everybody worked well together, and this, you know, and I want to echo what Lori says. Those two projects that we've just talked about are perfect bookends to the importance of our highway system.
Yes.
There's nothing that going to make a bigger impact than what's going on in Northwest Arkansas, but to this community, that was the biggest thing in the world for them, just an overlay project to get them connected again. And so
Yeah,
it was really a good day.
Both days were excellent. I loved both. Both days were a good day. So actually, this project realigned a curve, resurfaced the road, lifted a weight restriction, increased the safety, and it couldn't have been better on cue as we were standing there talking about the project. This big 18-wheeler went around the curve and didn't turn over.
Didn't flip over or
which
anything.
was really nice. Our design worked. So Atlas Asphalt was there. They were the contractor. It was just a great day. So it was a great example of partnership and solving problems. On May 21st, I welcomed everyone to the RDOT's Transportation Research Committee, their Transportation Conference and Equipment Expo. We've been hosting this committee meeting for 20 years now, and this was our 6th year to do it in Hot Springs. It's a great venue, the Hot Springs Convention Center. Well attended. We had 42 vendors in attendance. They set up booths and show their wares to the attendees, and we even had one that came as far away as Canada to set up a booth to talk to the attendees. So we had many speakers that came and talked to the participants. It was a great day. In our research section, they've got this down to an art. They do a great job every year when they put on this conference. And this is a way we get our engineers. We are required to get 15 PDHs, continuing education hours, professional development hours is what they call it for engineers. And we've set this up so that our attendees, our engineers, get 15 hours so they can hit that mark. So there's a lot going on here with this conference, but that's one of the big pluses of doing it, is we bring in the speakers and put together a program where our engineers can get their required 15 hours of PDHs every year. I went to the Batesville Community Enrichment Organization monthly luncheon and talked to that group in Batesville about their local projects. It was a great event. Lance Lambert and Atlas Asphalt hosted this event, and they've been great partners with us over the year. And it was a good meeting, a good lunch. It was a good day. Went to the Rotary Club of Pocahontas at the invitation of Representative Trey Steimel, and we talked to them about their local projects. We got there early and met with the new mayor. Representative Steimel wanted to be sure we had a face-to-face meeting, got to know their new mayor, and Jared went with me. It was a good meeting, good presentation, a lot of good questions. So good day in Pocahontas. And then on June 12th, I spoke to the Electrical League of Arkansas at their monthly luncheon, and I shared information about their National Electric Vehicle Infrastructure, or NEVI program, the status of current and local construction projects, and highlights from the recent eclipse. So that was a good meeting, talking to that group. I wasn't familiar with their group, and they're on the side, they're electrical engineers, and I got some extremely technical questions. And thank goodness for Hannah Wright, who does my presentations. I had that technical information. I just read it verbatim, and I said, did that answer your question? They said it did, how big these chargers have to be and all that. So it was a good event, and I answered some very technical engineering questions. I felt pretty proud of myself when it was over. Thank you, Hannah. Arkansas Trucking Association, their Safety Management Council quarterly meeting on June 13th. I went to Rogers and spoke to that group. Very well received. They wanted me on the agenda for an hour, so Parker and his group put together some good videos and tried to, mix it up so it wasn't just an hour of me talking, which can, that nobody likes that. So anyway, we got that. But it was very well received. They want to put it out on their website. The presentation and the videos that we did was good. So that concludes what has happened the major things that have happened since your last meeting. And now I'm going to ask Jared Wiley to come up and present the draft statewide Transportation Improvement Program, or STIP, for federal fiscal years 2025 through 2028. And after this presentation, I need a motion to release this to the public for comment. So that'll be the next step in our STIP development.
All right, as you all know, we've been working hard to develop our next statewide transportation improvement program that'll cover federal fiscal years 2025 through 2028. This STIP update will add 2 years to our current STIP to replace the 2 years that have passed already. This ensures that our staff has a steady stream of projects flowing through the project development pipeline. We're pleased to report that we're ready to move forward to the public comment phase now upon your approval. So just a quick look at the STIP schedule. We hope to release this draft STIP to public comment this week. It'll be out for 30 days. During that time period, our MPOs will be working to update their TIPs, or their transportation improvement programs. We have 8 MPOs in Arkansas: Little Rock, Central Arkansas, Frontier, Tri-Lakes in Hot Springs, Northeast Arkansas MPO, Northwest Arkansas, Southeast Arkansas in Pine Bluff, Texarkana, and West Memphis. So our local programs division coordinates with all of our MPOs closely. They'll be working through them through this time period to make sure they have everything they need and the coordination is happening there. Once we receive that from the MPOs in August, we'll wrap up the comments we receive from the public. We'll respond in kind, as I mentioned before. If we get an email, we respond in kind. We get a letter, we send the commenter a letter back explaining why we cannot make the change. And we'll present that draft STIP to you again in October for your final approval. Then it will go to the appropriate federal administrations for their final approval. This is a list of some of the agencies and entities we'll release the draft STIP to this week. It totals over 1,200 offices statewide, so it goes far and wide. And those STIPs are available at all of our district offices. If folks out and about in the state would like to come see a hard copy, they'll be available there in each district. So some details here about what this update includes. So on the screen, you'll see all the projects that are included in the draft STIP. In brown, we see pavement preservation and bridge replacement projects. In red, interstate projects. In blue, our Renew Arkansas Highway projects, or CAP 2. Our safety projects in purple, capacity in green, and capital improvements in the gold color there. This draft STIP adds the addition of 200 new projects, which will make improvements to over 1,600 miles at a total cost of about $2 billion. This includes $300 million per year for pavement preservation, $110 million for bridge projects, and $100 million a year for interstates. As was mentioned earlier, our focus on system preservation is really evident here. We spend 3/4 of our available construction funding on system preservation. So in addition to these numbers, our STIP also includes funding for some major projects, including passing lanes on Highway 36 near Searcy, on Highway 270 in Montgomery County, and along several sections of Highway 412 across the northern part of the state to make some progress there. It includes major widening projects on Interstate 40 between 440 and Lone Oak, Highway 1 in Craighead County, Highway 65 in Van Buren County, and Highway 82 in southwest Arkansas, and a project on Highway 135 in Paragould. The STIP also includes significant funding for the continued development of Interstate 49 in western Arkansas and for Interstate 57 in northeastern Arkansas, as well as funding for Phase 3 of the Springdale Bypass. The Airport Road interchange in Hot Springs will be reconfigured under the project in this STIP to make it more efficient. And in addition, this STIP includes partnerships with the cities of Jonesboro, Worcester, and in Morgan. When you combine all these new projects with the existing projects in the STIP, the improvements total over 4,500 miles. 200 bridges will be improved or repaired or replaced, and with 725 projects totaling nearly $5 billion of investment over the next 4 years. That concludes my report, Director.
Okay, you've heard the recommendation of the staff to release this for public comment. Is there any other comments?
I would just say that we will provide a report to the commission that shows all the comments and the responses prior to the next meeting when you'll adopt the STIP to move forward. So just want to make that clear. You'll see the comments we receive before you vote on the next phase.
Okay. Any other questions? Hearing none, do I hear a motion to release this for public comment?
So moved.
Motion,
Second.
second. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay. Thank you.
The next we have our Chief Fiscal Officer, Patrick Patton, to come up and present the proposed 2024 and to 2025 operating budget.
Thank you, Director. Educated enough to work this, figure it out. Oh, I'm not. That's why I stick with numbers. Okay, looking toward state fiscal year 25, give you some highlights on salary, the highlights, and the operating expense side. Just to give you a quick background on the salary section includes regular salaries, overtime, and then payroll additives. Operating expense is just what it is, operating expenses for the divisions of the department. So under the salary highlights, we are proposing a 3% cost of living adjustment across the board, achieving career excellence, or our ACE, our performance-based pay, an average of 2%. Also increases for our salary or providing career ladders and meet our operational needs for the department as we go forward. And we're also moving the minimum salary for our staff to $15 an hour. With all that included, I'll go over the operations and then we'll get into the numbers. Operations, the budget increases, we're looking at a 3% increase to district operations for all of our, see, I'm not smart enough. Across the board, so our 10 districts in Peel Ferry will get 3% increase, what we're proposing. Statewide maintenance and information technology budgets have increased to handle the needs of the maintenance and technology for the department. We've also increased our mowing contracts, litter cleanup, and capital project commitments. Mowing contracts are coming in higher this year, or this coming next year. And then we've also put some capital project commitments that we have not put above the line in the past. We're trying to be receptive to things that we are already committed to and putting it above the line for the budget to make sure that we take care of it. Most of those in the past have been just as funds become available. On this slide, hopefully you can see, this is our breakout of our operating budget from the revenue side. State highway fund receipts, which those include our traditional revenues, our motor fuel, registration fees, permits, penalties, and then just our other receipts. We're looking at that as increasing about 3% over last year. Then we've got our natural gas severance, Commissioner Holder that we were talking about a minute ago. That's pretty much a 60% haircut of what we're going to receive in '24. So we are taking into account that there may be a continued decrease. Just as a comparison, last June, we received as a department $2 million in natural gas severance. Last month, we received $200,000. So that gives you an idea of where we are just in a short period of time in a year. We've got our interest income that continues to stay strong. That's being projected to be flat. The half-cent sales tax amendment 101, we're projecting it based off of what we are going to receive this year of about $265,000. I'm projecting about a 3% increase in that over the next year. So that brings us down to the total projected state revenue of $739,740. As you can see in the red circle, that's our operating budget commitment from state funds that I'll go over a little more in a minute. But if you keep on going down, you'll see Securities Reserve Fund. For those that don't remember year to year, that's the first $20 million of interest on the funds for the state. That's something that we still have to request via Act 1. Hopefully, it'll be September or October at the latest that we get to request that if interest rates stay strong. The next one's Act 1058, which is 1058 pulled the surplus that we get, the calculation of it, out of Act 1. We don't have to go request it anymore. We get that automatically. It's 25% of the first $200 million in surplus. So, you know, as you track and hear the state's surplus, if you hear it start dipping below $200 million, that'll start impacting our revenue. It's not anticipated to do that, but I mean that's just for your information. Then we get down to what Commissioner Farmer was asking a minute ago, or mentioning Act 416. We've got the fuel tax, alternative fuel tax, and then the new casino tax. We're predicting all those to be flat. With all that said, we're projecting at the bottom, once everything falls out, state funds available for projects of a little over $466 million.
Patrick, before we change slides, I had a couple of questions, I guess. You identified how much the operating funds available for federal matching. What do we need? Do you have the information on what we need, the minimum we need for federal matching?
$425 million. Is that correct,
Well,
Jared?
that's the federal funds that are available to match, right? Well, so our number that we need, the absolute minimum we needed would be 125, 150 million to match the four. Okay. Okay, well, I was just trying to get to the point that we're in a good shape now with our additional state funds, whereas when Act 1 was passed in 2016, we didn't have enough state funds to meet our federal match. If we had not passed that. So were we able to get any more federal funds in and above our allotment?
I think we were, Jared, weren't we?
Yes, sir. The community project funding we've been receiving, I think we're up to nearly 200 million since that's inception. So we'll need matching funds for that, but that's a great thing for the state.
So that's money we wouldn't be able to access if we did not have access state funds.
That's exactly right. Yes, sir.
All right, thanks. Thank you.
And to go along with that, that's, when we go through the budget, we work together with Jared and others of what do we need
Right.
at the bottom. So, I reach out to them because they know what, projects we've got in the wheelhouse, and we try to match that, if not exceed it. On this slide, you'll see the overall big picture of the budget broken out by our O-chart categories. You've got the director, obviously admin, and then on and on. What you'll see over there in that first totals column, that's the total gross state funds that we will be authorizing, committing to our operating budget. Then you see the less federal portion, the gray area. That 76 million is what we're anticipating getting back based on these budgets. We also get some back in another budget on our own construction, but this is another piece of where we get our federal funds back. And then that far right column is the net that we expect to commit of state funds once the year ends. Once again, you see down at the bottom, if you remember the previous slide, 443, 133, 262 is what we're committing to state funds for this budget for state fiscal year 25. If you take a look back to 23, 24, and 25, this gives you a history of our changes and our increases. As you can see, we're staying, fairly consistent with 7.2% between 23 and 24, and 7.7% increase between 24 and 25. And that's the end of my report.
I just had another comment here on going back to your first slide. The 3% cost of living, the merit pay, and the minimum salary adjustment, $15 per hour, are all kind of in line or similar to the Governor Sanders' recommendation for her budget. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
So we're, with the exception of we do our ACE merit program a little bit different than they do theirs. This is pretty much identical to the recommendations that she's making in her budget.
That's correct.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. As is customary, we typically approve the budget this time, and then later in the meeting, we have our annual review, performance review of the director, so knowing we'll have to plug that into the budget afterwards. So with that said, Lori, we need a motion to adopt the budget, don't we?
If you want to,
No,
yes,
yeah.
yes.
I'd entertain a motion.
Mr. Chairman, I move that we approve the budget as presented.
Got a motion? Do you hear a second?
Second.
Got a motion and a second. Any other discussion? David?
I have no questions.
Okay. All right. Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right. Budget is adopted.
Thank you. I would like to just publicly thank Governor Sanders for that very generous change in the employee salaries for the rest of state government, because that opened the door for us to allow the same thing for ours, and I think it's a really good, it's going to be really good for our employees. And I think in this day and time with inflation like it is, it'll be very, very much needed and well received. So thank you all for approving the budget. Okay, so we have a recommendation for a consultant selection for our, let's get this right. These are for consulting firms to assist local agencies with consultant services for all the various federal aid programs that we administer here at RDOT. And we were going to put all of these firms that you see on the screen. We had 45 submit a request or a letter of interest, a request for, and we got proposals, we did interviews, and of the 45, these are the 40 we're recommending that we put on an on-call list that can be used by our local agencies as we administer these federal aid programs, such as the Transportation Alternatives Program, Rec Trails Program, Local Bridge Program, Carbon Reduction Program, Safe Streets for All Program, Electric Vehicle Infrastructure Deployment, Surface Transportation Block Program for urbanized areas. So what this does, this helps our local agencies not have to go through the whole selection process. They just come to us and they're able to pick one of these consulting firms to help them with their project, to get their project designed and ready and follow all the federal rules and regulations. We advertised and we sent out, we had it on our website to all our consulting firms. And like I said, we out of the 45 letters, 40 of them have been selected to be on this on-call list. And let's see, if everything's in order, I would like to ask for a motion to begin negotiations with these firms to be on our local programs on-call list.
Do I hear a motion?
Make that motion.
I got a motion. Do I hear a second?
Second.
I don't know how that turned out. Okay, hearing the motion in the second.
I have mine on silent. It's still, I guess
Yeah, it
everyone
still does it, yes.
Still does it, so.
All right.
Yeah,
All those in
okay.
favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? Okay, hearing none, we'll pass the motion.
Okay, kind of slim for our upcoming events, which I'm not complaining. So not much going on in the next month until your next meeting on August 7th. We have the holiday, Independence Day. I have a PE board meeting. I have the SASHTO scholarship drawing. Good Roads Executive Board meeting, and that should say Chairman Farmer on there too. He's really the star participant in that meeting. I just go along to hear what's going on. And then again, we'll meet on August 7th. So looks like I can take a vacation sometime during that period of time.
Laura, would you want to share a second, the SASHTO coming up? Is there anything you want to share with us now, or just save it for the next meeting?
Oh, we're doing fabulous on getting everything in place. We're doing, is it monthly meetings with the staff, the committee, but everything's coming together so nicely. Again, just like with the Fallen Worker Memorial, our consultants and our industry are so supportive to make this the best annual meeting SASHTO has ever seen, and we're excited about it. We've got a lot going on. It's going to be in Rogers, Arkansas, and
How many
Looking forward to
attendees?
it.
How many attendees are we expecting up there?
We're expecting about 1,400, but of
Wow.
those will be the workers and others. So about 1,200 actual attendees to be there, and from all over. We've got good participation. We've got a great technical lineup. Got a great keynote speaker for our opening session. Her name is Carrie Lorenz. Garver actually has been gracious enough to get her on board. She's a top notch, and excited about her leading with fearless leadership. We all need that. So anyway, we're looking forward to it, and more to come on that. On August 7th, we'll probably have a presentation on that. So.
Thank you.
Our 2024 spring secondary equipment auction was a success. We had 94 units sold, 91 trucks and equipment, and 3 little miscellaneous minor pieces of equipment. And proceeds totaled $455,000 after paying the auctioneer's commission. So that's really good. Oh, $427,000 after paying the auctioneer's commission. So some good, salvage units that we need to replace. It's part of our equipment management program, but this is a great way to recoup some of that cost. A couple of the higher priced units that were sold was a 2010 Doosan loader for $20,000. So a 2010 piece of equipment brought in $20,000. That's pretty good. And then a 2016 Ford F-250 Crew Cab 4-wheel drive pickup brought in $18,500. So got a good price on that. And these pieces of equipment need to be put out. They need to go. We need to replace them with newer equipment, but it's a great way for us to recoup some tax dollars and apply towards our equipment budget. So I'd like to express my thanks to our equipment and procurement staff that did a great job with that auction. We had 4 members of our staff that were inducted into the Arkansas Academy of Civil Engineering. Jesse Jones, Assistant Chief Engineer of Planning, Steve Frisbee, Assistant Chief Engineer of Maintenance, Jason Huey, District 4 Engineer, and David Hall, Division Head of our Surveys Division. And this is quite an honor. It just shows that they have been very successful in their careers in engineering. It's an honor to be a part of this academy, and I congratulate all 4 of those RDOT folks that just continue to show the excellence of our staff here at RDOT. We received a 2024 Environmental Excellence Award. On June 5th, our Environmental Division, headed by Josh Seagraves, received a Collaboration and Partnership Award from the U.S. DOT Federal Highway Administration for the work completed on the Jefferson County Crayfish Relocation Project last year. I know some of you may think crayfish, that's crawdads in my vocabulary. And what's the deal with the crawdads? Why do we have to do this? Well, these particular crayfish are an endangered species. And anytime, our environmental folks, they are very tuned in to making sure that we do everything that we need to do and keep in line with the National Environmental Protection Act. They work hard at it, and bless them, that's a job that, it's a calling, I'm sure, because these little crayfish live in the ditches there, and they're the only place in the world. Only place in the world these little crayfish live, in a ditch in Jefferson County. And they literally got them and moved them to a safe place while we did a highway project. And, it's just a great example of how we can build the biggest interstates in the world, but we have staff out there taking these 17 little crayfish and moving them to a special place so that we don't completely lose them off the face of the earth. And they got an award for that. It was in partnership with Arkansas Game and Fish, Fish and Wildlife Service, Natural Heritage Commission. All of these folks were involved and received an award. And not only did they take these crayfish that were endangered, but they also moved a few others out of the way so they would be out of harm's way. So congratulations to our staff.
When they relocated these and these other fish, how many pounds did that bring us up to for the crawdad boil? How many were eaten?
Yeah. Oh, none. This is. And I got my numbers wrong. There were 83 of these little crayfish that we relocated, along with many more. So, but you know, up in the northwest Arkansas, they have a species called the blind cavefish, and you know, I had to do a study on that, and people don't understand, but when you lose something like that in your water supply, that's an indication that your water supply has gone bad. So if you're protecting these little blind cavefish, you're protecting yourself. And so, you know, it's just, anyway.
It's a big deal in the long run.
It is. They're like the canary in the mine.
Yeah.
Okay, with that, I believe I'll kick it back to
Back to
you,
me.
Chairman.
All right, well, no budget can be complete without the director's salary included. So it's customary this time of the year that we have our annual performance review of the director, and so I would entertain a motion to move into executive session for the purpose of the annual performance review of the director. Got a motion? Do I hear a second?
Second.
Second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Okay, we're going to move up to our conference room on the 10th floor for our executive session, so nobody that wants to stay to the end of the meeting has to leave here, but that's the only business we have left to conduct. So we will return.
So we'll come back here.
We'll come back here and just,
Yeah,
and
go back.
we have to come back To go back into regular session from executive session.
So moved.
Motion, here's a
Second.
second. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Okay, we are now back in the regular session, and we're going to wrap up the meeting. We had our evaluation, our annual evaluation of Director Tudor's performance, and as usual, it was exemplary. She continues to do a fantastic job for the department and the citizens of Arkansas. And as a result of that, we took action following what Governor Sanders has done with her secretaries and executives, awarding a 2% lump sum merit pay, and then adjusting the COLA as well to 3% for the upcoming year. So, you're welcome. Do you have anything?
I'd just like to say that I appreciate the vote of confidence. Thank you to the commission for your continued support and encouragement. You've done nothing but make my job easier, but I'd have to say I look good because of the great staff I have supporting me in everything that I do. It really is a team, a group effort, so today's evaluation is a reflection of how well they do in supporting me in this role. You know, it's not me, it's the staff. So I just thank you for that, and I appreciate you.
Thank you.
and
I guess to make it
commissioners.
official, we do need to vote on that, don't we? To add it into the budget, and to add that to the budget.
It's already in the budget, right?
No, well, her salary adjustment's not, so.
Oh.
So would entertain a motion.
So moved.
Second?
Second.
Second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Is there any other business to come before the commission? Hearing none, entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second? Thank you, David. I gave you one more opportunity to participate. All those in favor? All those in favor, say. We are adjourned. Thank you, everybody.